Matt Munguia, FEX Mentor here. I'm just going to run a quick breakdown on how I underwrite in the house. Okay, I get a lot of questions, especially from new agents, on how I break everything down pretty quickly in the house and know what carrier to choose and run with. So let's just say we're in the middle of my presentation. I already have their height, their weight, their birth date, and all that fun stuff. One of the next questions is, can I see your medications? Make sure I get you the lowest rate out there. I'll need to see your medications. So do you have a list, or can you bring those bottles to me real quick? So they'll bring the bottles to you, and you start looking at the bottles, and you notice that they're on lisinopril, which is no big deal. They're on simvastatin, let's just say, no big deal. And now they plop down Spiriva. Okay, so Spiriva is usually going to be for COPD. So at that point, you can Google, what Spiriva is used for. You can use the FEX quote engine that has a medication list on there. I usually just Google it and find out if I'm not sure about a medication, what it's used for. Just Google it with phone, right? Everything's on the phone these days. You can always call the underwriters at the carriers if you have to, or call me. But you shouldn't need to do all that. Usually just Google, unless there's no reception. You can call somebody or put it on the ding machine, ask the question about a certain medication. But long story short, what you'll want to do is, once you get and Google Spiriva, you'll see that it's COPD. Now at that point, we're going to pull up, you should have Dropbox downloaded on your phone, right? So Dropbox, everything will be on the phone. And we're going to pull up our agent cheat sheet that we have, right? In my opinion, it's the most comprehensive cheat sheet out there. So you use it. I always have this thing on me, right? So COPD, we pull up if it's no oxygen. So Assurity is coming in as preferred if they're a non-smoker. Equitable standard if non-smoker, graded if a smoker, Transamerica standard, America Ultra Protector 2 level standard, so on and so forth. So if it's in green, that's the go-to company for that particular ailment, okay? So the colors matter. Green means it's the go-to. If it's blue, like American Home Life, is coming in at level if diagnosed over 2 years and no meds, but any inhaler or meds equals graded, right? So if it's in blue, it can go either way. If it's in red, it's decline or graded, so it's probably not going to be the company you want to roll with for that particular ailment. So that's what the colors mean. Some agents want to know what the colors mean. That's what they mean. All right, so back to the COPD and Spiriva. Okay, so I'm in the house looking at the Spiriva. I see, okay, so let's break it down. We open up the Dropbox. We've broken it down to probably Assurity is going to be our lowest price. I don't like to mess with Assurity, but in this case, I like to know before I go as well. So, and it's going to be the lowest price if they can get a preferred rate. So I'm going to run with this one. Now I'm going to go to Assurity and make sure Spiriva is not on the RX guide knockout list. All right, so I'm going to go to their RX guide. Let's check that out. And there's a KO list. Okay, let's open that up. It's not on the RX KO list. All right, so it's not on the RX KO list. It's nowhere on there. Now we're going to check the RX decline list. And what we pull up, and we're looking at, let's see, chronic bronchitis, emphysema, or COPD. It says if using oxygen and or a smoker, then it's a decline. So at that point, I'm going to ask the client, look, are you using oxygen? No, great. Are you a smoker? No, great. Okay. So I know that Assurity is probably going to be my go-to at this point. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the application. Let me read these just to make sure, Mr. Jones. I'm going to read these questions to you. If any of them apply to you, just stop me. So at that point, I'm reading them the health questions on the Assurity on the Assurity application. Answers them all no. Then I know I'm probably going to be in the clear to get this guy day one level protection, and I'm going to call the company, get an answer while I'm in the house, which I always think is very important. I want to know before I go. And, if they say no, that's okay. I got Transamerica as a backup. I can try with maybe America as a backup and get those fired in and see what we can do. So it's not a lost cause if you come back with a decline or graded or anything like that, okay? So that's usually how I break down my underwriting while I'm in the house.